Hi, I'm Leeanna. I'm the founder of Finappster, and we're reimagining how investors manage their investments. Finappster is an online platform that asset managers use to get real-time assurances of their social and environmental activities of investee companies that they can share with their investors. Because governments are charging asset managers to manage the corporate transition to more responsible practices, asset managers themselves are challenged with the collation, understanding, action, and discourse around numerous data points relating to corporates' environmental, social, and governance practices. One of the challenges of the finance industry is that ESG data providers currently provide rating systems. For example, they may give a company an A rating for their employment practices, but employment covers a lot of aspects such as salaries and benefits, health and safety, employment terms, even discrimination. Varying treatment of these can result in differing levels of employee engagement, well-being, productivity, proclivity to take sick leave, or even staff turnover. We found these ratings do little to give clarity or assurances as to what these ratings comprise of, or how good that company is on each of these aspects. Our point of difference is that we acknowledge all companies are transitioning in some way, and so Finappster provides progress metrics to give investors more transparency on how companies are managing or improving these aspects. In helping to determine what social impact is, we look to understand the fundamental drivers. Continuing with employment as the example, social injustices such as inequality, gender pay gap, or lack of health and safety can impact an employee's well-being and ultimately their happiness. To achieve social impact, we look to address and positively change social injustices. So we believe creating positive social impact is a balance between an awareness, understanding, and changing of an individual's personal behaviour on a particular issue, as well as using skills and know-how to give back to our local community. Diving deeper into this, let's look at an example of a company looking to improve their employee engagement with the provision of staff upskilling, above and beyond the standard compliance requirements such as health and safety. Based on the assumption that upskilling staff has a positive impact on their engagement, retention, increased productivity, this can also benefit corporates by facilitating shifts to best practice, improving revenue, or even generating new revenue streams. To do this, we're collating multiple data points. From a qualitative point of view, we look at employee salaries and benefits, retention, even sick leave taken. We also look at corporate training budgets, what training is offered and to who. We look at whether they're consistently tweaking their products or services or developing new ones in line with their customer requirements, as well as consistently improving efficiencies, increasing revenue, and adding new revenue streams. And then we compare them to their industry peers. Does this make them more progressive? Less adaptable? We also get more context by comparing their activity with city or country averages. We look for a minimum wage and compare that with their employee salaries. We ask, is their salary over and above the CPI of a basket of groceries, the cost of accommodation, and commuting expenses? Are their employees able to have a reasonable standard of living by working for this company? The final step we take is more qualitative, and this is to validate the data. We're using social media and sites like Glassdoor to find out what employees are saying about this. We're using the theory of change as a framework to measure and monitor social impact. This has 4 key elements. Firstly, we look at the inputs. In this instance, this is the resources to conduct the training program. Secondly, we look at the outputs, or the direct result from the activity. In this instance, the number of people trained. Thirdly are the outcomes, or the changes to the people resulting from the activity. In this instance, increased engagement and productivity. The final element is the impact, the longer term effect of conducting the training. So on the assumption that with more engaged and productive staff, the company was able to generate more revenue and promote some of those who received the training. In this final stage, We're also looking to estimate what would have happened anyway. So if we assume in this example that 5 people got promoted, but 2 were going to get promoted anyway, then the actual impact is based on the 3 people who got promoted directly as a result of the training. An additional consideration we're looking at is that in assuming the employee lives locally and that they got a salary increase with their promotion, we're looking at measuring the downstream benefits of their promotion on the community. This might include increased spending in local stores or the sharing of their newly gotten skills. We're still working through a lot of challenges. First and foremost is the number of assumptions we're making in this particular scenario and many others. Beyond that, we have a myriad of other challenges, and a couple are listed here. Firstly, the context. The extent of the impact will be different for different people, whether it's based on cultural or religious beliefs, or just geographic lifestyle factors. The next is interconnectedness. Asset managers are applying the current economic way of thinking. This suits those who want to compartmentalize discrete problems that assume a relatively linear relationship between variables, such as increased productivity and growth in revenue. But it's inadequate for addressing impacts such as poor labor conditions on an employee's emotional well-being. Finally, traditional economic theory has not yet bowed to sustainable capitalism. Until environmental and social impacts can be easily measured, monitored, and valued for inclusion in corporate profit and loss statements, will sustainable capitalism remain an oxymoron? On a final note, as we race into the future, it remains to be asked, as we collectively move those facing social injustices towards a path of happiness, can we, or even should we, put a value on it? I'd love to hear how you'd respond and manage these challenges. You can contact me at leeanna.kohn-hardy@finappster.co.nz. I look forward to hearing from you.